We are here with Randy Travis and his beautiful wife, Mary. Randy, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
So, what does it feel like after all these years? People are still honoring you. People are still singing your music. That has to feel like such an accomplishment.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
I think when he was making the music, at that point in time, he had no idea that it would live so long. And it's like I told him, I said, that music that you made is going to live forever and ever, amen. It's not just something that's here. And that's what's beautiful about that kind of music is it speaks to us. It tells the stories of our lives. It's a soundtrack. It'll never go away. And he was so genuine and humble, and he put everything he had into all of his music all the time. So I think that awards like this are the things that prove that.
And we just talked about your book that came out. What are our plans next? What are we doing moving forward? By the way, that book is amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You know, we've kind of learned to take one day at a time since the stroke 6.5 years ago, and we feel so blessed to be here tonight. We learned that God laughed at our plans. You know, He laughs when we make our own plans. So we've just learned to kind of take one day at a time and, you know, spend time with friends and family and appreciate the fruits of His labors from so many years. So we just want to keep going. We want to inspire young artists. We love to go listen to young artists that are writing and singing and performing. And I think that's what Randy loves more than anything is, of course, being around the music, but inspiring those that just says, hey, keep on trying, because sometimes I think they give up too soon. But stay in the fight, and if that's what your passion is, don't give it up.
And you learned how to fight. I mean, your success did not come easy.
No.
No, it didn't come fast and it didn't come easy. And tonight is just another one of those indications that it's worth the fight.
And people will still be honoring you, Randy. 20, 30 years from now, people will still be honoring you.
Thank you.
And he deserves it.
We are here with one of my absolute favorite people in the world, Brett Young. Brett, thank you for stopping by.
It's always a pleasure. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are the bags showing?
No, you look fantastic. So, bag's showing because he has a newborn at home, y'all.
She's 3 weeks today, and the absolute best thing that's ever happened to us. And for me, if I were to complain about sleep right now, I wouldn't. I'd feel guilty because my wife is sleeping much less than me. So we're on cloud 9 and we're figuring it out, and very blessed.
So talk about that moment when you see your baby. You've waited for 9 months, 9 plus, and then you hold your baby and you see your baby. Can you describe those emotions?
No, actually, the crazy thing is I make a living on words as a songwriter, you know, and when my daughter was born, she came out and all the things that you're afraid of, she like, you know, you're like, are they going to take a breath? Are they going to, are their eyes and ears going to work? She came out, took this big breath and cried and opened her eyes and looked right at me. And I was like, all this, like this kind of weight came off and all this idea of a person became a reality really quickly. And I'm not like I'm not like a manly man, like a tough guy, but this whole like kind of, what's the, like animal carnal need to protect this child came over me, and I felt like a dad immediately. It was a really cool experience.
And we're going to get to music, but I have to ask how Taylor's doing, because we love Taylor.
She is. If you read my post when Presley was born, I said my wife is a superhero, and moms are superheroes. And I didn't know it could be more true than I felt it in that moment, but watching her over the last 3 weeks take to motherhood like somebody who's done it for her whole life, she's good. She's up all night. She's breastfeeding. She's not sleeping. She's figuring out what cry means what. And she's doing it with grace, and she's good. She probably would love a couple hours of sleep right now.
Okay, let's talk about music. Catches in the top 30. Do we feel pressure because you've had like almost all consecutive #1 hits, right?
Knock on wood. Do we have any?
We don't.
Yeah, we're Catch is the 6th one, and the first 5 went #1. So
you know that doesn't happen often, right?
No,
like we're okay.
I know it's been surreal, and again, like people remind me all the time. You know, they're not all going to do that. I know that, Catch is one of my favorite songs off this second record, and it's finally starting to get some traction. I think Catch is one of those songs that has the very obvious boy meets girl in a bar story on the surface, but it has a ton of levels. And you need a certain amount of exposure for a song before people can start to dig into the levels beneath the surface. And it feels like it's starting to happen where people are going, that's a song about something beautiful born out of tragedy. I have that story, and I'm starting to get those messages now. And so it feels like it's really starting to hit its stride. And it makes me, I've told you this before, my songs are like my kids. So now that Catch seems to be understood, it's like your kid going through grade school and feeling like he's not the kid that's not understood. And then all of a sudden, like, he's got tons of friends. It feels like Catch has tons of friends now. So I love that because it's a special one for me.
And before I let you go, 2020 plans, music tour, fill us in.
So we will be going out on a headlining tour called the Chapters Tour, which starts January 30th in Knoxville.
With the baby?
That'll probably be the first tour where we start testing the baby on the road. I don't know if it will be that weekend or not, but the crib is on the bus. We have to transition from bassinet to crib in the house before we try crib on the bus. But I'm bringing my longtime guitar player and piano player from my band, Matt Ferranti, out as my opener on this tour. We're keeping it all in the family. We're going to use the Chapters Tour. It's a 90-minute set to tell even more of my story, kind of pull the curtain back, give people a little bit more of a peek. And so I'm looking forward to it. And I've been writing a ton, so I don't know when, but new music's coming.
We're here with Brothers Osborne. We are celebrating a lot of things happening tonight. Talk about everything that has happened in 2019, especially being at the ASCAP tonight, and also brand new album out, all the things.
Yeah, there's a lot that has gone on. It's weird. The years just kind of flown by. These award shows are like, oh my God, right at the end of the year. We've been playing a ton of shows. We're about to start recording our next record starting next month. And we just released a live record, like you mentioned, live at the Ryman. So we just got off of a headline tour. It's been a lot going on this year. And to be here tonight accepting the Vanguard Award is just another really massive cherry on top of it all.
When we talked last year, because they waited a whole year to talk to me, could you have anticipated everything that was going to happen in 2019?
No. I think you can't anticipate anything. You could try, but what's the fun in that? If you're wrong, then you're let down. If you're right, then you're not surprised. So don't even have expectations. Just work hard, enjoy yourself, be good to people, and then when things happen, it should be an added bonus. So, we're obviously very grateful. I would say we earned everything that we have. I feel like we deserve the success, just by the man hours alone that we put into it. But you don't try to expect these things. You just do the best you can and try to enjoy it.
Okay, so you don't try to expect these things, but did you kind of expect at least one CMA Awards nomination? Not to mention you're the second most nominated act of the night.
We certainly didn't expect that. We kind of thought we would be nominated in the duo category, considering we just won it last year. But there will be a time that we won't be. So we try to never take it for granted, because there will absolutely be a morning I wake up and we got 0 nominations. So if we even have one, it's a huge morning in the Osborne house, and waking up with 4 of them was certainly a huge surprise.
And are we nervous? Do you get nervous when you go into the CMA Awards, or you're like, whatever happens is going to happen?
Yes and no. You just kind of go with it. I get more anxious about the red carpet than anything else. Like, if you win an award, you're like, let's just go on stage. You got 30 seconds to talk. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but this is what gives me anxiety. Talk about yourself. I'm like,
I give Brothers Osborne anxiety.
It is weird. We will be. You have your cool about you. You're like, okay, our award's coming, and then as soon as they say Brothers Osborne, you're like, oh God. You're like, even if we lose or win, it's still like, what's about to happen? Yeah. It's like about to go down a roller coaster in either direction. You don't know.
Okay, so you teased something earlier that I can't let you go without talking about. You released Live at the Ryman, you released Port St. Joe last year, and we have new music coming?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Eventually. No, we're going in the studio in December. So we're going to go in the studio, and that's going to be the next big leap for TJ and I. Is to put the songs. We have all the songs written for the most part, and we're just trying to get those songs to where they're ready for you.
And all albums still. We're not going to the singles only model that some artists are going to.
What? Are we doing that now? Did I miss the memo? Yeah, I think we're recording a record.
Singles sounds kind of nice. At this point, I want to put out some new music. Whatever we got to do to do that the fastest. No, but we are recording a full record, and we'll be putting a single out at the beginning of next year.
We're here with Michael Ray, newly married Michael Ray, talking about all the things. How's life?
Great, awesome. Getting used to wearing this.
Ooh, Ooh, okay, so what do you want to talk about first, music or marriage?
Whichever one you started.
right.
They're both intertwined. So
They kind of are.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is married life?
it's awesome. You know, I joked the other day. I said I've been on the road pretty much since the wedding, and so is she. So I think this week is like our first like week together since the wedding. But the end of the year is always busy, so we knew that, obviously going in. But it's been awesome. Not much has really changed. We were already living together, and so I joked. I said the only thing that's really changed is her last name. But there is a deeper connection and a deeper love, I guess, that you do kind of automatically have afterwards. Everybody kind of told me that, but it's one of those things that you don't understand unless you feel it, and definitely felt it. Definitely, you just kind of naturally go to this next level, which is pretty cool. So.
When you saw her walking down the aisle in that fantastic dress, what were your thoughts?
Man, I bawled my eyes out before I walked in, which I think was a blessing because it kind of just got it all out, and it was just really cool. It's like a slow motion moment for me. I was like, this is really happening. Like, I don't know, like you spend so long anticipating it, and she looked so beautiful, and it was just, seeing her dad with her, and I'm a big family guy, and seeing both families finally together, and everybody meeting new members of families, that it was just really cool. So luckily though, I think I got all the crying out at once while I was walking. I mean, it was ugly crying. It was deep, and then but then I think I was good the rest of the ceremony. So.
And honeymoon's coming in December, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay, Her World or Mine, what a great song. And fans are really responding to it, and it's still climbing up the charts.
It is. Thank God. Thank you, Country Radio. Yeah.
I love it.
It's been awesome. The response has been incredible. I think one of the big reasons is because it's so real, so raw. We've all been in one of those worlds at some point in our lives, whether you're the one that decided or you're the one kind of left with the pieces, trying to figure out how to put it all back together. So I think that's why we're seeing the response that we're seeing, and it's been really cool to kind of see the crowds growing and singing it. And one of my favorite moments to look back on is when I first saw Garth Brooks when I was a kid. He was my first concert, and I'll never forget him playing the dance and just that opening lick on the piano. And the place just, it was silence and then went nuts and then was silence for the whole song. And he never said anything. I always thought, I want that moment. So Her World or Mine's kind of giving me my dance moment. Once people hear that guitar lick, people just, the reaction's been incredible, and the crowd's been super sweet. So.
And the video, dude. I might have cried. I'm not saying I did or didn't. I'm not saying I did or didn't.
We were making it. There's some moments of that video that are hard for me to watch. One thing I wanted to really do that I haven't done yet is really dive in deeper to a video and show different sides of my story that I feel like we haven't really addressed yet, that a lot of people live with or do with on their own. And I think that God gives us this platform, and we should use it to connect with people that might feel lost or might feel confused or might feel alone, and realize that, hey, other people has also gone through this and it's okay. One of those being my mom and dad's divorce, which is the main storyline of the song. Next is my little sister who was involved in an abusive relationship, which is another segment of the video. And then I lost my grandmother at the beginning of this year, and so the video is dedicated to her. And the scene, the funeral scene, when they zoom in on her hands, my grandmother wore big silver turquoise rings on every finger, right? All 10 fingers. And so when we were shooting it, I said, stop. She has no rings on her fingers. We got to put rings on there. And so we found rings that literally looked like my grandmother would have worn them. And I walked back to the director's chair where the directors were sitting, and I saw it, and I was like, I cannot look at that. And so that's the part in the video. It's almost too real for me to witness, but it's been really cool to see the story. I feel like Her World or Mine can go way deeper than just a breakup. I feel like in a relationship or in death, you lose somebody. And for, when I lost my grandmother, I think the meaning of Her World or Mine took a different thing for me, because I felt like, she was gone and I was stuck. I was the one stuck here trying to figure out how to put life back together after losing someone of her stature of our family.
What did your family think when you kind of bared their story as well as yours?
Yeah, I asked before I did. I was like, do I ask or do I just show them? They knew that I would, they were very kind. They knew that it was, my meaning behind it was not to air out dirty laundry. It was about awareness. It was about being able to share my platform to hopefully inspire somebody to get through something that maybe they're going through. And I made them all look good. I had Michael Murray play my dad, so he was cool with it. My dad was like, all right, if he's playing me, I'm cool with it. But they're all sweet about it.
We are here with Midland. They are not fun at all, but we have things to talk about. They're moving around. It's fine. So we're here at the ASCAP Awards, and you guys are being honored tonight for having like a super played song on radio.
Is that why? We didn't really know the specifications of why we've been being honored, but we did hear there's an open bar, so we showed up.
Fair.
Yeah, that's great. Burnout, we're getting recognized for one of our singles, one of our songs on our first album, On the Rocks, and it was a massive song for us. Its impact more for us was massive. It was relevant for a long time, and it's helped us establish our fan base, which is what we really care about, and that's because we're a touring band. So.
And you're still touring, and you just released your sophomore album, Let It Roll.
Yes, ma'am. Let It Roll. We just came in yesterday morning on the tour bus from completing the 2019 North American version of Let It Roll tour. We're going to continue that over to Europe in a couple weeks, and then we're going to come back after a short respite in 2020 and starting in the end of January. And it's going to roll on through the end of the year, through 2020 probably.
I remember talking to you guys here last year, and we were talking about how your career has built. Your career has really built in the last year.
Has it?
Yeah.
Bet your butt.
No, we've definitely spent the last year on the road, and this of course was a year that we got to release music. So we went straight from touring the first album to touring the second album, and that's just kind of what we do. We create music, kind of in motion, and release it in motion, and we're always playing live somewhere.
And Mark, are we ready for the baby?
Yeah, I'm just ready to be in one place for more than a couple hours. I think we're all really looking forward to getting back to our families and getting a much well-deserved time off. But yeah, I'm just ready to get done with all this stuff and get home and be there for my wife because she's ready to burst.